Hi, good morning. Yeah, long time no see again. I thought I'd better fill you in on what I'm sort of up to, really. I mean, I know I've not got many subscribers, but it's just really important. I've spent a lot of time, I suppose, working out what I want to do. I think I talked about it in my last video about ideas for the channel and stuff like that. Sorry, my nose is blocked, so I'm a bit nasally. And I've been sort of thinking about, I planned to do a video on, helping people leave Jehovah's Witnesses and stuff like that. And I started to put a plan together to make the video. I started making the video, and it just didn't happen. It just didn't work. Nothing felt right. And I scrubbed it out, and I tried again, and I've sort of come to the conclusion that perhaps now that I've made my videos about my past, that was part of my healing process and part of my moving on, as it were, from the past. It needed to be spoken about. Things that I hadn't spoken about for years needed to be talked about. And so by doing that, it's kind of put me in shifted my mindset a little, as it were. And so I don't need to revisit it in that way. I don't need to revisit my past in that way. I'm a survivor of that past, but I'm not a victim of that past, as maybe I have been. And I'm kind of ready to step away from all of that. I don't need it. It's not where my life is going. And so, yeah, if people want to talk about, people want to discuss anything about leaving cults or that kind of thing, then that's fine. I'm happy to do that, but I kind of need to live in the here and now and focus on my practice now, what I do now, as a head witch, and that's what I'm going to talk about, and that's what I'm going to make my videos on, because that's where I am. That's who I am now. I'm I'm kind of ready to move from the past and move forward, and that's quite a profound thing, and it's interesting because this is the time of inbox. This is the time of new beginnings, putting things away or letting go of what no longer is working for you. And I think that sort of JW past and it consuming me and everything else, doing those videos has helped me to kind of move on from there, to look forward, to break with that past, to say, okay, that happened and I'm facing it rather than letting it mull around in my head. And now is the time to move forward. And so this is a really good time for me I feel very liberated about it as well. And it's a really good time for me to say, to look ahead and to think about what I really want to do. This is about me and what I really want to do. Say it again. So yeah, it's required a lot of thought. It's required a lot of soul searching. And yeah, I'm going to focus on me now and my craft, my family, and my spirituality. And so let's get into it. Yeah. So I think, as I've mentioned before, on my XJW videos, I sort of came to craft in my mid to late 20s. I did start out in Wicca. I did eventually join a coven. It didn't work out for me. I had a really bad experience. Not that everybody has bad experiences. You know, it's not the craft or Wicca or anything like that that's wrong. Sometimes it's the people doing it. You know, you've got to make sure you're with the right people. And I wasn't with the right people. And they basically affected my mental health very badly, which took a long time to recover from. Years, broken trust. Same as it was almost like reliving what had happened with the witnesses through a pagan group, you know. So that's taken me years and years to work through. So now I work on my own. I you know, I'm happy to work magically with other people, but for me it has to be, I don't like the hierarchy. I don't like someone saying, oh, I'm the high priestess or whatever. You know, if that's you, that floats your boat, that's fine, but it's not for me. For me is to be able to work with people on a equal level. No hierarchy, no structure, no put you know whatever here. No. But I much prefer a much more free flowing, what I call a free flowing practice, with where I do things when I feel the need to. As it were, it fits in around me, it fits around with my family, and it makes me feel good. I'm not stressing out over, I need to do this at a certain time, or I need to make sure, oh, I haven't got that colour candle, or you know, that's to me, that's quite stressful. Rules. Not a fan of rules. Not that I suppose maybe I'm a little bit chaotic in that, but I like to learn through self-research, whether it be the internet, books, about things. I suppose I don't like to be. I like to make discoveries. I suppose the way I'm kind of a little bit of a discovery witch, as it were. Hey, that's a good discover. I love to make discoveries. I love to read things and get ideas from it, and not get so hung up about you know, do this, do that. I can't be done with it. And as it is weird really, because I have gone up until past 12 months really. I didn't really do a lot of magical work. I've been raising my children. I have a 16-year-old who is sort of slowly coming out as pagan, you know, embracing her witchyhood and embracing her witchiness, but she's doing it in her own way. I've sort of signposted her to various YouTube videos which I thought would resonate well with her, and also books. And I've also bought her a book for her 60th birthday, but that's for her to explore. You know, I don't believe in imposing my spirituality onto my children. You know, that was done to me, and I don't want to do it to my kids. You know, I would rather them explore who they are. I mean, you know, for years she was saying I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything. You know, and now she's saying, well, actually, yeah, I kind of do believe in something. You know, that's great. That's making discovery, little discovery witch. So yeah, that's kind of where my practice is. And I've got a son of 13. He's kind of really out there. And he sort of, the way he talks, he's probably a little bit witchy too, you know. And I think that will probably come out more as he gets older. But as I say, I've not, with my older two, I've not brought them up to believe anything as such. I've allowed them to explore and to find their own path, you know. And for me, that's the hell. I don't want to influence my children like I was influenced, like religion was forced upon me. I don't want to force religion or spirituality upon my own children. That's just how I've decided to be. You know, if they want to get involved in a ritual with me, or they want to celebrate a certain festival with me, then that's great. But I'm not going to intrude on their spiritual journey, and that's just what I've decided for myself. My third child, he's only 4, and he is showing quite obvious signs of, he has a lot of additional needs, and he's showing signs that he's probably autistic. We're just sort of on the waiting list for him to be obsessed. So technically I'm now a full-time carer for my youngest son. I'm his carer, and it's given me time to think about my needs and what's healthy for me, what's not healthy for me, and again, leaving things behind that maybe just not a healthy environment for me. I don't even know whether this will be doing witchy videos on YouTube, but it's kind of where I'm feeling at the moment that I am, and where I'm going to focus. Because that feels right. So I've been umming and ahhing a lot. Oh, what should I do? I want to do videos. I enjoy doing videos, but I was getting to the point where maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. Probably my last video I was very wishy-washy because I was still in that planning stage. Now I feel I've got a firm, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going with this. This feels right. So as I'm stating my intention. So yeah, that's where I am. And something's flown out of my head. This happens a lot. Things fly in, fly out. And so, yes, I remember now. And so, that's... sorry, my brain. I could hear somebody moving around. I think it's my husband. He's on nights, and I think he's probably gone down to the loo. Sorry about that. My spiritual practice as it is now, as I say, I'm a head witch. I work alone. A lot of solitary practitioners will call themselves head witches, but there's more to being a head witch than simply working on your own. You tend to work a lot between the two worlds, the mundane world and the spiritual world, and you are kind of, I suppose in some ways, a lot of time I feel like I have one foot in one and one foot in the other. Those can be really, it doesn't happen all the time, but those could be really quite emotional times for me, when I feel like I have sort of one foot in each world, as it were. That's the way I can describe it. Because I've been out for so long, for quite a few years, because, as I say, my focus was raising my children and being the best mum I can be to them, and in a lot of ways it still is. My practice was quite stagnant for a while. I would just sort of do minor observations, whereas now, but I think because of that, now that I'm practicing more, now that I'm getting back in touch with my spirituality, I actually feel more powerful for having that break, for embracing my motherliness. I'm kind of heading for Chromedom at the moment, but embracing my inner mother, and sort of, I suppose, in a way that was a magical practice. I do feel it's enhanced. Being mother has enhanced my magical practice. I'm not saying that everyone should go out and be a mum. It's a tough job. Not everybody's up to it. It's a very, very tough job. And I think, if people decide not to have children, they should at least be a parent advocate, because, we need all the help we can get. I always find it really, for me, probably really irritating when you're somewhere and either people without children tell you how to bring up your children, or people who have chosen not to have children, and they sort of sneer at you, you know, with your mucky children, you know, haven't got a clue. So I always think, you know, if you're not, you know, if you've chosen not to have kids, you should be a parent ally. You should ally yourself to mums, because we need a bit of loving too, you know. We give a lot of love. We mums give a lot of love, and could do with a little bit back. That's the way I see it, anyway. Disagree? Put it in the comments. But anyway, that's kind of where I am at the moment. I am doing deity work for the first time. I've always in the past, I have always worked with sort of nature spirits or ancestors and things like that. That's sort of, you know, I've never sort of been interested in deity work at all. And then I started to be quite interested in. I had a sort of fleeting interest in the past of Greek gods. I mean, my daughter's name is Athena. In fact, my son, he also has like a ancient Greek name, but it's not a god one. It's more Shakespeare. And my youngest also has kind of a Greek theme, although it's more of a run-of-the-mill name. And so I'm losing my thread again, but I'm not gonna jack it in just yet. But what I then, as I say, I sort of dabbled in that a little bit, or explored those gods a little bit, probably when I first sort of seriously came into paganism, and then moved away from that, and sort of, as I say, got into working with nature spirits and ancestors and stuff like that, and even researched my family tree quite heavily. I've got a vast family tree, which I found a really sort of cathartic spiritual experience in a lot of ways. It really it was really quite a journey, and it's something that I've kind of taken a break from it because it was so heavy. But yeah, I that is something I'd recommend to any witch, you know, or any person really, if you want to develop yourself or understand yourself. You have to be open, though. If you do family history research, you have to be open to what you will find, because you don't always find what you expect, and a lot of these tales of what Granny tells you about what people did might not actually be the truth. I found a lot of that in my family tree. People saying, "Oh, so and so was servant to the royal family." Blah blah. No, she wasn't. Far from it, and things like that. So, I do recommend that. It's a really eye-opener experience, and also led me into my sort of passion with history and learning, and then that learning got me interested in going back to college and then to university, and things sort of spiraled. And this is all the stuff I was doing. I was sort of, as I was doing all that learning, all that mundane learning, as it were, you know, I slowly moved away from, although, you know, I still called myself a witch, but I toned it down a lot. Sort of kept that side within me and sort of focused more on the mundane and getting my academic qualifications. I mean, yeah, I've only got a bachelor's degree, but okay, bachelor's honours degree. But, you know, it's a degree. I worked hard for it, and I still keep berating myself, thinking, I could have done better, but I think the headspace I was in at the time, probably not. But, you know, so, as I say, I moved on from there, decided I wanted to have a career. I was going to go into teaching, but that sort of fell by the wayside because I ended up pregnant again. And with my boy and with his little one and his needs, and suddenly that became a priority. This little boy needed me a lot, and I got to the point now, probably about once he started going to college, or well, not college, school, and realizing, well, this is now my time. Going back to work is going to be really difficult for the kind of work that I wanted to do. I've now got to be on call for my son, because even though he's at school, there something could go wrong, and I'd have to drop everything, and so I have to be here, to care for my son. So I'm kind of looking for ways to explore how I can help my family from home financially, and looking at my resources and stuff like that. So I'm sort of starting to do tarot readings and things like that. And the more I started to explore my spirituality and my tarot readings and things like that, the more I realised that this was where I wanted to go. But as I was saying, went off on a slight tangent there. Deity work. As I say, I'd moved kind of away from the Greek mythology a little bit. As I say, had a really sort of detour, focused on my mundane, focused on my kids, and then more recently, I'd started, because I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I'd started reading Lord of the Rings again. I try and read it, and then this time I got more into the Silmarillion, which people say, oh, that's so hard to read, blah, blah, blah. No, I loved it. I think I loved the Silmarillion more than I loved the Lord of the Rings. I think there's more women in the Silmarillion. There's more stuff going on, especially if you like elves. It's more elf action. It's to me, the stories in there were a lot more interesting. I think because it's written like a mythology book, rather than a linear story. I think that's why it appealed to me, because it was like reading like books on the Parthenon, or books on like the gods, different Greek gods, and or other gods, and that sort of led me on another path of exploring Norse mythology, and because a lot of Lord of the Rings and stuff is based on the idea of having a mythology for England, and I started, and he took a lot of his ideas from, Tolkien took a lot of his ideas from Norse mythology and other mythologies. So I started exploring Norse mythology, and I just found it fascinating. I'm East Anglian anyway, and so a lot of my personal heritage is, I think my brother did a DNA test. We're very, very British. Very, very more British than a lot of British people. And which a lot of people don't think, because I've got blue eyes and dark hair. Oh, you can't possibly have, you've got to have foreign ancestry. No. Sorry, mate. DNA is different. But yeah, we had a lot of British and also Scandinavian. So there's a little bit of Viking, little bit of British, little bit of Viking, yeah, which is not surprising for someone who comes from the east of England, because this was part of the Dane law, and a lot of the Danish and Norwegian settled here as well. So yeah, I mean, I come from Suffolk, born and bred Suffolk, which obviously, if you're from Suffolk, and I've traced my family history, and on both sides, my maternal and my paternal line, which are very, very East Anglian and very, very of that. You know, I can't find anything very, very little out of East Anglia, apart from Northampton is about the furthest. And so that's not that far from East Anglia. So no, we don't go very far. And a lot of the people from even in Northampton, there was a big Viking community there by the appearance of things. So yeah, so I've got a little bit of Viking, a little bit of British, and not much else. So so exploring sort of Viking mythology was really, really interesting. You know, from that point of view, and but like I say, from that I started also exploring. As I say, I was very interested in the Silmarillion and the elves and stuff like that, and I started to do you know, sort of working with the elf, you know, working with the sort of the, sort of fae work, or yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not talking in like polished, scripted language. Okay, this is just me. And if I pause a little bit, then I'm sorry. I you know, I've got to. I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from my soul, not from a script. Okay, so you'll have to bear with me. All these young people go, "Oh, she ain't talking properly," you know. But there we go. And oh, I'm losing my train of thought again. Oh, I say I started working with but not like sort of working with elves and fae, but not the sort of idea of the like Lord of the Rings goody goody elves, because they're kind of a little bit too perfect. You know, real elves are like that. And lo and behold, when I started to do that, you know, through meditation and mainly through meditation, dream walking, that kind of thing, hedge crossing, something really weird happened. As I say, up until that point, I had never worked with deities. I hadn't even started to work with Norse mythology deities. I planned to start looking into that and you know, seeing where that was going to lead me. However, the more I started tapping into, you know, the elves and the spirit, you know, more back more into crossing hedge that I'd always used to do. Suddenly, and this happened. I was doing the school run. Okay, this is going to make you know. There was no sort of for me. I think like there was no sort of mystical moment. There was no sort of you know, me setting up a ritual and you know, oh, bring this goddess into me, blah 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 blah. No, that didn't happen. No, I was doing the school run, and I had this energy come to me, and it was sort of like swirling around me like a snake. That's the only way I could describe it, like a snake coiling around you. And she introduced herself, and I'm just like, I'm doing the school run. You know, can we do this later? I've got the school run, and it was Hecate, and I'm like, the what? And my husband's going to be, you all right? I think, yeah, I'm fine. You know, I don't really talk about spiritual things with him. He's a complete muggle. It's not his thing. You know, he doesn't really have any understanding of it. He just thinks, oh, witches dress up in black and have orgies. That's kind of his understanding about witches do. So he must be really disappointed with me. I'm dressed up in black, but as for the orgies, but there we go. So she comes to me and introduces herself, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of not the time that I need to be dealing with this. Can you come back later? I'd say Mr. Hecate, come back later when I'm kind of in the right headspace. I've got to bring an autistic 4-year-old home. I really don't want to be talking to you now. So obviously she made it clear that she wanted to work with me, and it was up to me whether I wanted to accept her at this time or not. So I said, well, I need to think about this, because I did need to think about it, because I knew very little about her. I knew she was what is termed as a dark goddess. I knew she was very powerful. I knew she was like from Greek mythology, and I always had like an interest in Persephone, and when I was sort of dabbling in that way, I sort of found the like Persephone myth quite interesting. And so I knew her from that, really, and I hadn't really done any kind of proper study of her or anything, and she just turns up and says, I want to work with you. What? I was just like, okay, I need to think about this. So I thought about it a lot and thought, well, you sort of turned up really out of the blue, and but it feels okay. I'm okay with this. And I thought, okay, where can it lead? So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go with this and see where it leads. And so far, she, I have started to do research on her, and the whole coily snake thing was like, oh my god, that's one of her forms, and that she sort of, why is she going to me as a snake, and I think I need to do more research on the whole snake thing. But it was just like, oh my god. And then I'm saying, oh my god. And I was like, gods, gods plural. And I was like, I obviously need to study this person a bit more. If I'm going to work, she wants to work with me. I don't know why. I'm a complete mess up in my life, and now she decides she wants to work with me. I suppose I better brush up on who she is. But she sort of made it clear that I didn't need to join any covens. I didn't need to. I can just work with her. I don't need to go anywhere else. I don't need an intermediary. She made that very clear that was not what she, she wants to work with me. The sort of fae, elves, whatever, they're around, but they're a little bit wary of her. She's like, but not more reverence than anything else. They see her as a queen, and they are just, they are just like, oh, you're working with her now. You're working with her. Okay, we're just going to behave ourselves, because they were starting to mess me about, which they can do. They can get. You have to be very careful with fae. And even the elves, we're not talking Tolkien elves here, as I said, you do have to be very careful, because they will turn on you. But since Hecate's come into my life, they've behaved themselves, and she is quite protective, sometimes quite fiercely so. and I don't know, I kind of feel more confident. I suppose I'm tapping in because obviously she, not only is she like the divine feminine, she also has the divine masculine aspects, as I've learned, and I feel that's bringing me out and bringing me to be more confident and giving me the confidence to let go of things that I don't need anymore. Hence why I was saying I'm not really going to pursue or explore that XJW side of myself. I feel that her coming in and saying, right, I want to work with you, and she's encouraging me to move forward in my life, not to look behind me. And it's funny because part of rituals to her, when you leave a offering for her, which, you know, one of the things I have sort of gained from, and it's like she said to me, yeah, go read books, watch lectures, you know, get all the information, but work with me. You know, when you work, you do your research, that's fine, but when you work with me. And it's almost like I go off and I do homework, and then I go to there's the place where I go to walk, where I go to leave her offerings and stuff, and that's when it's like I just have like a meditative walk with her. I feel her presence, and we, you know, commune in that way. And then I can't wait, and I've learned things more about myself than anything else. And so sometimes, you know, when I'm hedge walking or, you know, dream walking or whatever, I haven't really had it come to me through that. It's more through the meditative walks and the place that I go, and that I will commune with her. It's kind of a different place. That's my place to go to work with her, if you know what I mean. Whereas like when I'm doing dream walking or hedge crossing or whatever, that's a different thing. And I'm kind of working with, as I say, different entities when I do that, which she's okay with as long as they don't get out of line. And they know that, and I know that, and you know, that's how it is. But yeah, she's very protective, and is opening my eyes to a lot of things, even in the mundane world, where you know, it's like having a blindfold removed, and suddenly you see things in a different way. That's the only way I can describe it. But yeah, she's sort of bringing me out of myself, and you know, tapping into that the divine masculine side of her, and I'm enjoying learning about her and working with her, and making discoveries along the way. And that's kind of where I am at the moment. And I'm sure some of you listening to this will go, "Oh my god, she's like weirdo or something." Okay, that's fine. That's what you think. That's what you think. You know, I don't care. I'm just telling you how it. You know, I'm just speaking from my heart. I'm just speaking what I feel. So what I feel. You know, don't take from it what you will. But yeah, so that's kind of where I am. And it's just been nice to talk about it and to chat about it. What I do want to be doing, I will do some tarot readings on here. Eventually I do want to build up to like maybe doing a buy me a coffee or one of those sort of little tip box things, because you know, it's just a way of me and my development and learning to grow, and using my craft and my abilities to help my family. You know, it's anything that I do make, obviously pay your taxes or whatever, you know, once I've paid my taxes off and stuff, and I'll will eventually, you know, if it takes off, I will probably go self-employed and be able to work from home, and you know, but we need to see. I can't just assume that that's going to happen if, like, you know, nobody's interested in my readings. You know, you can't make people interested in your readings. They've got to like you, and you've got to have a rapport with people. And you know, I suppose I'm quite grounded in that I don't do all the fluffy stuff, as it were. I'm not a fluffy pagan. I'm not a floaty. That's not me. I'm more of a down to earth, get it, and literally in some cases, you know, I'm the stone picker upper. I'm the you know, I like my stones and my seashells, and barefoot walking if I can do it. You know, I'd rather be out getting mucky than floating about in a pretty frock. You know, that's just me. So yeah, I shall hopefully make small videos on YouTube. I do find with Instagram, although I do make a lot more videos on Instagram, although my account is private at the moment, because unfortunately there's a lot of dodgy folk on Instagram who either want to chat you up, and I'm a married woman, or they want to mine your followers, or they want to scam your followers, or they want to scam you. So that's why my account is private at the moment on Instagram. So if I'm confident you're a genuine person, you'll get a follow, or you'll be allowed to, you know. I'm just having to be just a little bit picky at the moment about my followers. I know it says mean, but you know, I've got family. Family first. So yeah, that's kind of where I am, and I look forward to making some more videos. As I say, I suppose this is kind of an in bulk video because this is the beginning of what I hope will be something new. I'm going to put my JW Exit Story as a playlist, and then I am going to start, you know, doing some things on here. As I say, with Instagram videos, you get like they won't let you do any more than 15 minutes. So I may end up doing more videos on here and then putting links from my Instagram or something like that to this channel. We'll see how it goes. Everything is ebbing and flowing, and I just want to see where it all ends up. So I'm just, you know, if you want to come on this journey with me, float along with me, that's fine. You know, if God, I keep doing this, my mind just goes, I have all these ideas in my head or what I want to say, and then my mind just goes blank. And I know like lots of people do scripted things, but when I write things down, it just doesn't feel natural. I'm a chatty person. I'm from Suffolk. Suffolk people like to chat, so I need to work in a way that's natural, and this is natural for me. So I think I've said all I want to say now. So all that remains to be said is cheerio, take care of yourselves, and mind how you go.